Let's look at how to hoop a real garment. So I have here a t-shirt nicely folded. And the first thing that I want to do is figure out where on this t-shirt I want to be sewing. So here I have my garment, and typically I would want to be sewing from center. I want to sew about 4.5 inches over, and then from this top seam I want to go about 7 to 8 inches down. And you can use a ruler for that. Piece of tape is handy for marking where you want to do it. If you have a quilter's ruler, you can measure both at one time. So you can do 4 inches over from center and 7.5 inches down, and then I know right about here's where I want to sew. You can even make a little mark, just make sure that you don't mark the garment itself. All right, so now I've got that. That's for a left chest. You'll get to where you don't need to measure every time. You'll get to where you can start to eyeball what you're doing, or use handier measurements like it's the width of my hand over, or it's the length of my hand down. Or you might even find where you can mark just on your hoop, you know, this is the center of the garment, and so that when I'm laying this down on my garment, I'm pretty much lined up to center here, and then you just have to figure out there. Lots of options for speeding this process up. Now I need to adjust my hoop to my fabric. So I'm going to be using cutaway backing because this is a very stretchy t-shirt material, and it's probably going to go against skin, and anytime that happens I like the softer cutaway for that. I'm going to slide that cutaway into the garment, and since I'm adjusting, I'm just using the tail of the garment for right now. I'm going to slide this in. It's already been loosened. I'm going to lay this in here, put that down, should go in fairly easily, and I'm going to tighten this up, finger tight. All right, then I'm going to pop that off, go 1, 2, maybe 3 full turns more, and I'm going to slide that backing where I want it. Depending on how staticky it is, it may be a bit of a challenge. There we go. I'm going to lay that out nice and flat. I want to make sure that as I'm doing this, I'm not pulling the fabric to get any kind of fabric distortion. I'm going to put my hoop in. It's going to go under the backing. I'll then line up my hoop as best I can to that dot, and as I'm doing this, I'm pushing the outer hoop where I need it to go, just by pushing on the edge of it. Now, if I were to do it this way, I would have to go in through the bottom of the garment because of where that notch is, and I want to go in through the neck. So I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to try to get this as straight as I can get it. I'll put the top in. I will hold my hand back here. Now I'm not kind of stretching this out because that's going to distort my fabric. I don't want to do that. I just want to put the top in, push down, get this as level and even as I can get it, and then pop that hoop in. Now that I have that hoop in, I'm going to hold this up and see, did I really get this nice and level, or do I only think I have it that way? And if I don't, if it's not level, if it's not even, I want to unhoop, straighten out my hoop, and rehoop. I don't want to be twisting the hoop in there. That's going to distort that fabric. It's going to contribute to hoop burn, and neither one of those things are good. This was almost straight, but not quite, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that out, smooth it out, and then do it one more time. There we go. So that's what I'm looking for. And now I'm ready to load this onto the machine.